Welcome to the Black and White Messages. This is your pastor Matthew George from the First Baptist Church of Blythe here in California. You know, the Bible is filled with those who were called by God but were fearful of answering God's call. You look at Moses, for example. God called him to go back to Egypt. And what did Moses say? Lord, I don't want to go. I'm slow to speak. Send someone else. You look at Gideon for that matter. Gideon argued with God that it would be a mistake for God to pick him to go and fight against the Midianites. Look at the Israelites. They rebelled against God and stayed in the camp, afraid of being destroyed by their enemies. Peter was afraid to identify himself as a follower of Jesus, and with anxious curses, he denied any association he had with Jesus. Yet, God used all these people, in spite of their fear, to change the world. All these people and many more listened to God, yielded their lives to Him, and experienced God's abundant provision in their time of need. You know, after well over a decade of following God, I have personally come to the conclusion that there is simply no risk to be led by God. Risk is a human term. It is derived from our selfish human nature that does not want to surrender our life to the Lord. Think about this. Our sovereign God has power over all things spiritual and physical. God is amazing in His wisdom, abundant in His grace, and boundless in His love. When God calls you, He goes with you. What God calls you to do, He empowers you. It is amazing that our God stands with power and grace and wisdom everywhere He leads us. Now, the danger will be when we refuse to be led by Him or even scared to answer His call. It is easy to forget who we are in God and convince ourselves that we are wiser, stronger, and more righteous than we really are. That is when we step into danger. We prefer giving the excuse, I am human, to walk in the flesh rather than accept the reality that I am saved, I am a child of God, and I will walk in the Spirit. Where is God leading your life? What is He telling you to do? Are you ignoring God's call? Remember, our allegiance is not to our purposes and our plans, but to God's purposes and God's plan in our life. Each moment of fear, each moment of rejecting God's leading in our life is an act of refusal. And that act is one of the most profound spiritual irrationalities that we could get into. God wants us to rest in His plans as opposed to be anxious in our plan. Isn't that a better option for us, to rest in God's plans and leadings in our life? God bless you.